Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebooted MCU. Today we are here with the Rebooted MCU Phase 5 Part 1. That's right everyone, we are now in Phase 5 of Rebooted MCU, the second of 3 phases in Saga 2, the Galaxy and Mutant Saga. I know you are all excited to jump in, but before we get started, I want to remind you all to join the Discord in the description below, follow the Instagram page, and make sure to check out the Rebooted MCU side projects announcement video and submit your own idea in the Discord if you're interested in getting involved. Now with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into Rebooted MCU Phase 5. The first project of Rebooted MCU Phase 5 is Captain Marvel: Secret Invasion. The movie opens up on the Kree homeworld of Hala as we see Kree Captain Dar-Benn, played by Aidan Turner, sitting in the Grand Hall reviewing battle plans, as suddenly the door to the hall swings open as we see Yon-Rogg, played by Jude Law, burst in and scream, "Dar-Benn, we're under attack!" As we watch as Yon-Rogg is impaled from behind by some kind of attack which the audience can't see. As he falls over, we watch as he dies. Dar-Benn rushes over to check on Yon-Rogg and then quickly to the window of the Grand Hall. He looks outside as he sees Skrulls have overrun Hala and have begun killing civilians and destroying buildings. We watch as Dar-Benn goes to grab his Cosmi Rod to fight against the Skrulls as suddenly an invisible force pushes him down. We watch as suddenly a Skrull appears from across the room and stretches his arm to grab Dar-Benn by the throat. As Dar-Benn is dragged to the Skrull, he screams, "Who are you? Why are you attacking Hala?" We watch as the Skrull's hand catches on fire as Dar-Benn begins to scream in agony as the Skrull screams back, "My name is Kalert," played by Kingsley Ben-Adir, "the leader of the Skrull separatists, and this is repayment for all the attempts to destroy Skrull civilization at the hands of the Kree." We listen as Dar-Benn screams in agony as we cut to the Sword Building in California, where we see Sword strategist Monica Rambeau, played by Tiana Paris, and Sword director Abigail Brand, played by Amelia Clark, watching a computer monitor reporting a steady drop in life on the Kree planet. What does this mean, Monica? I have no idea. The planet is suffering no internal complications which would be causing this amount of life to be lost. It has to be some sort of external force, almost like the Kree are being invaded. From all known accounts, the Kree are one of the most advanced military civilizations in all of the galaxy, correct? Yeah. We watch as Brand steps away from the monitor and takes out her phone. She dials a number and holds it up to her ear. "Director Fury, we have a situation. I think it's time for you to call your friend back to Earth. We need her help." We cut to the planet Kymelia, home of the Kymelians, as we see the Kymelian leader, Kim, voiced by Jennifer Hale, sitting in a room. She turns to an unknown figure sitting next to her and says, "Are you sure we can stop the Xenerks? They've been giving us trouble for years, and they're only going to get stronger as their numbers build." The figure sitting next to her is revealed to be none other than Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, played by Natalie Dormer, who smiles. "Kim, you have nothing to worry about. I'm here to help you guys out now. That's my job, traveling to planets who can't protect themselves and giving them the protection they need." Suddenly, we hear a horn flare as Kim screams, "They're attacking!" On it, don't worry. We watch as Captain Marvel flies out of the building as "Don't Bring Me Down" by Electric Light Orchestra begins to play. We watch as Captain Marvel begins fighting the Xenerks, who are attacking Kymelia. Captain Marvel is easily able to defeat them as we watch her destroy thousands in the process, before flying up to the Xenerks general and saying, "Leave Kymelia now, never return, or Captain Marvel will be back to stop you again." We watch as the remaining Xenerks retreat from the battlefield as Kim and the Kymelians gather around Captain Marvel, cheering and praising her for the victory. When suddenly, Captain Marvel reaches into her pocket and pulls out the pager from Avengers Infinity War, that is once again beeping, showing that Nick Fury has sent an SOS signal to Carol. Captain Marvel looks at the Kymelians and thanks them for their praise, but says she has some other important business to attend to as she runs off. We cut to the Battle of Avengers Endgame, where we see Captain Marvel attempting to overpower Thanos before he punches her away using the Power Stone. Suddenly, Carol wakes up in a cold sweat as we see a monitor inside her ship, the Quadjet, blinking. Carol walks over to the monitor and clicks it on as a few figures appear on screen. Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, Talos, played by Ben Mendelsohn, and 2 unknown Skrulls. Why, if it isn't Carol Danvers, my old pal. How you doing? You know, Fury, sleepless nights, long days, typical routine when protecting the cosmos. Talos, how are you? It's been too long. And who are these two? I'm doing quite well. This is Queen Anel and Anel's cousin, Dazan. Carol greets Queen Anel, played by Gillian Anderson, and Dazan, played by Jeremy Swift, and asks them what the trouble seems to be about and why they're contacting her. Anel explains that during the blip, a group of Skrull separatists rebelled against the Skrull Empire based on their perceived lack of action from Anel in terms of protecting their people. Anel was able to escape Skrullos before they began attacking in an attempt to overthrow her rulership, and is currently being housed on the Brood planet for safety. But her son, Prince Doric, was captured and experimented on after her escape. Fury explains that while Doric was perceived to have been killed during the experimentation by these Skrulls, he survived and is currently on Earth training with Bruce. So, what exactly am I being called for then? I mean, it sounds like there really hasn't been a major update since the last time we talked, and last time you guys told me that there really wasn't anything I should do as of yet. That's not entirely true. After the Skrulls took over Skrullos, they began experimenting on themselves and created what's known as a Super Skrull. And with these abilities, they begun their quest for galactic domination. Their first target was Hala, the home of the Kree, and their second target is Earth, largely because of their belief that you showed the galaxy that the Skrulls are weak creatures when you stopped the attack by the Kree all those years ago. Okay, well, isn't that what the Avengers are there for? I mean, they are the protectors of Earth after all. Carol, we not only have reason to believe that this Super Skrull formula makes them 10 times more powerful than a normal Skrull, but we also have pretty good information to indicate that these Skrulls have sent sleeper agents to various planets in order to scout out the landscape to prepare for attack. If either of those things are true, we're going to need you to come back down and help. Your first mission is to find Prince Doric and then head to the SHIELD facility in New York. I have someone I want you to meet. I'm forwarding you Bruce's location now. I hope you and Doric will become acquainted. You two will be working together a lot in the future, I have a feeling. Thank you so much for all your help, Carol. If we can stop these Skrulls, I'll be able to return to the throne and hopefully return Skrullos to a feeling of normalcy. As we watch the screen cut off, we watch as Carol sits in silence as she sighs and begins heading towards the coordinates sent to her by Fury. Cut to an area just outside of Washington, D.C., where we see a log cabin. Suddenly, Hulkling, played by Nicholas Hamilton, goes flying across the screen, as we see She-Hulk, played by Tatiana Maslany, charge at him. The two are shown to be fighting as we see Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo, scream out to them, "Remember, Jen, don't pull your punches. Doric can handle it. Doric, use your wings for an aerial advantage. Jen can't fly, so move the fight to your turf." "You know, I said you can call me Hulkling." "I know, but I think it's a bit weird. Like you're a mini-me or something. Anyways, enough small talk. Focus on the scrimmage." As the two keep fighting, we watch as the Quadjet begins to land as Hulk looks up in surprise. Jen, are you expecting any guests?"
"Bruce, I love you, but why would I invite any clients out to some random wooden cabin in the middle of nowhere?"
"Perhaps it is a giant metallic monster that wants to challenge the mighty Hulkling's newfound strength." "Yeah, I really don't think that's it either, buddy, but I appreciate your bravado." As the Quadjet lands, we watch Carol exit the plane as Hulk screams, "Carol, how ya been?" He rugs up and hugs Carol, who chuckles. "Great to see you, Bruce. Keeping the anger under control?" "Trying my best. Oh, Carol, let me introduce you to my cousin Jen. She's also a Hulk. It's a long story. We fought a red Hulk and an old Hulk, but she is a She-Hulk. It's a bit on the nose, but just look past it. And this is..." Hulkling interrupts Hulk and introduces himself to Captain Marvel as Prince Doric. also telling her that she is his hero since she was the one who protected the Skrulls from the Kree all those years ago. Doric, just who I'm looking for. I actually talked to your mother last night, and well, we need to go meet with Director Fury. You are needed for something important. Apparently, we might have a Skrull issue. Bruce, is it okay if I take Doric with me? Well, I think he has officially graduated from his studies of being a Hulk, so sure. Excellent. Come on, Doric. We need to leave as soon as possible. Yes, ma'am, Captain Marvel, ma'am. Aren't you going to tell Carol that you go by Hulkling? I do not dare question the name decision-making of the Marvel. Hulk looks to She-Hulk, who shrugs as we watch Carol and Hulkling walk back to the quad jet and take off. We cut to the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility in New York as we watch Carol land the quad jet. Doric looks at her and asks, So, Marvel, do you take sidekicks? I'd love to work with you. Sorry, kid, I work solo. As Carol and Doric exit the ship, we see Nick Fury, Maria Hill, played by Colby Smulders, and S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Daisy Johnson, played by Chloe Bennett, waiting for the group. Carol, thank you for getting here in such a timely fashion. And Prince Doric, I hope Bruce didn't push you too hard. Now, come on. We need to get to the lab. There are people waiting on us. As the group enters the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, we see New York officer Jimmy Woo, played by Randall Park, standing with a young girl who begins jumping up and down and screaming, Oh my gosh, it's her! It's really the Carol Danvers, the Captain Marvel, my hero! Now calm down, Kamala. Remember, you need to act professionally, even if this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The girl is revealed to be Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani. Carol looks to Hill. Who is this pipsqueak? S.H.I.E.L.D. PR thought it would be a great idea to have a contest to become a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent for the day. And she won. She's a super fan of yours, so just make sure to talk to her or something like that. Yeah, and after the big prison break with Scott, Wu got tasked with grunt work. The state felt that such a day as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent would require the state to have some sort of oversight, so they sent him here to babysit. Kamala, Wu, join us. As Kamala and Wu join the group, Carol looks to Nick and says, are you sure it's smart bringing a child into a meeting like this? What harm could it cause? She won't remember anything. Plus, if she does, we'll just wipe her mind if needed. Kamala chuckles nervously as Carol looks to her. Don't worry, he's just joking. I think. Kamala squeals with excitement as we watch the group head down to a laboratory in the basement. Inside the basement, we watch as the group walks in and are greeted by Abigail Brand, Monica Rambeau, and an unknown scientist working on some sort of contraption. Inside the lab, we see various scientific objects and other contraptions. Carol walks beside Rambeau, who looks over and says hello, but Carol ignores her. As the entire group shuffles in, Brand speaks. Director Fury, thank you for gathering your team together in such a timely manner. Everyone, this is Dr. Adam Bernard Brashear. He is a brilliant scientist who's going to help us figure out what exactly we should be doing concerning these Skrulls. The man turns around and is revealed to be Adam Brashear, played by Lawrence Fishburne, who nods silently as he motions for Hulkling to walk over to him. Wait, did she just say Skrulls? Like those green alien people that Captain Marvel fought? Yeah, kid, but that's besides the point. Who are you? What is all this stuff? Experiments and scientific objects that I've collected over my various years of studying. There you can see an energy disruptor that I built when I first graduated from school. Matter from the negative zone I managed to collect on one of my many trips to deep space. And lastly, the Miss Terrigen, one of the rarest pieces in my collection. But that's a story for another day. Now, please, silence. Let me work in peace. Carol scowls as she walks around the lab while Adam runs tests on Hulkling. She sees a tarp covering what appears to be a body lying underneath. What about this body? Did you kill someone? He was already dead. I was tasked with bringing him back to life, in a manner of speaking. Nothing to worry about. Okay, moving on. Dr. Brashear, what can you tell us about what happened to Hulkling when he was experimented on? From what can be said, it appears that the Skrulls altered his DNA in an attempt to give him powers. The formula they used was very primitive and could have easily killed him. But honestly, it's a miracle he survived. From the looks of it, they might have used what happened to him in an attempt to perfect a... Suddenly watch as Jimmy Woo whips out a gun and shoots the lights out in the lab. He also shoots the vat containing the mist Terrigen as he attempts to run out. Monica attempts to stop him before he pushes her into the energy disruptor, which begins sparking as she makes contact. Wu then fires multiple shots into the room, which is filled with the Terrigen mist, so we are unable to see who he hits or where he shot. We watch as he places his gun back in its holster and runs away. Captain Marvel screams, "I got him!" As she blasts off after him, Adam runs and removes a tarp from the table, hits a button on a humanoid's chest, and says, "Bring back Wu. We need him alive." As we watch Captain Marvel chase Wu through the hallway, she manages to catch up to him and begins beating him senselessly. As she does, we watch as he slowly transforms into a Skrull and begins chuckling. "You are the so-called savior of the Skrulls, yet here you are, about to kill one. You're no hero. You're a galactic tyrant who performs acts of heroism to boost her fragile ego in an attempt to cover up the fact that she's secretly sad and lonely." As Captain Marvel screams and prepares to punch the Skrull to death, she is suddenly hit from behind from a white blur. After she regains her composure and looks up, she sees White Vision, played by Paul Bettany, who tells her, "Carol Danvers, you must stand down. I've been instructed to bring the Skrull back alive." Carol screams as she begins attempting to fight White Vision as the Skrull lies on the ground injured. Suddenly, Nick Fury runs into the hallway and screams, "Carol, please, let Vision take him. We have bigger things to worry about. Talos is down." Carol stops as we watch Vision pick up the Skrull. The three return to the laboratory as Kamala and Daisy are having some sort of reaction to the mist, while Monica is twitching on the ground after having been impacted by the energy disruptor. We see Adam leaning over, checking on Talos. As he looks up to the group, he says, "He's gone." We cut inside a hospital wing where we see Hulkling sitting with Kamala, Daisy, and Monica, who are all lying in hospital beds. Carol walks in as we see Adam running vital reports on the three. "So, you magically have all of these great scientific contraptions. You rebuild a new version of Vision, and yet I still know nothing about you. Who the heck are you?" Adam explains that he was a graduate of Cornell University, where he managed to put himself through school during a time where he faced much discrimination as an African American from his peers. After graduating, he fought in the Korean War. After he served his country, he began working on a device known as the negative reactor, which he used to attempt to draw antimatter from unknown realities. However, during this experiment, the antimatter attached to him and infected his body, and gave him incredible powers, super strength, flight, and the ability to create energy from not only positive matter like Captain Marvel, but also antimatter. The few people who knew what happened dubbed me the Blue Marvel. But I wasn't really known on Earth. What happened? It broke me. I went into hiding. I was ashamed of who I was. I've been an outcast all my life and thought that these new powers, it would cause me to be a further outcast than I already was. I tried to lay low, that is until the 1990s, around when you got your powers. The S.H.I.E.L.D. director at the time was a man by the name of Alexander Pierce, and he tasked me to work with a man by the name of Vernon Van Dyne and his lab assistant, Jonathan Drew. I had previously been in hiding, as I said, but came out to help Van Dyne study a new specimen called a symbiote. I had never enjoyed working with people since my friend Connor died during the Korean War, but Van Dyne was different. He made me feel accepted, like I didn't have to do everything alone. That was till the symbiote attacked him and killed him. As soon as I found out, I stepped in and fought off the symbiote and was able to save Drew's life. Not before the slow realization hit me that Van Dyne was gone. After I found out more about the symbiotes, I decided to go into space to stop the symbiotes from overtaking other planets and causing more bloodshed like what happened to Van Dyne. And I just decided to stay in space. Van Dyne wasn't around to give me the comfort I needed, and I ended up traveling from one remote planet to the next, collecting various artifacts and other pieces of interesting scientific objects until I received a call from Fury and Brand to return to Earth. Apparently, S.H.I.E.L.D. had kept tabs on me since I left Earth following the death of Van Dyne. I'm sorry for being so harsh towards you earlier. It actually seems like we have a lot in common. So, you are kind of like this planet's version of Captain Marvel. No, I'm not a hero. I gained the power of longevity when I got impacted by that antimatter. But yet, I feel like my soul has died 10 times over with the things I've witnessed and experienced. I'm no hero. Carol's a hero. She goes out and tries to protect the galaxy. Me, I'm not. I'm just a dude who's an outcast. As Carol looks down, we suddenly watch as Maria Hill walks in and says, "Carol, Fury wants you downstairs. They're about to start questioning the Skrull." We cut inside an interrogation room where we see the Skrull sitting at a table with Nick Fury standing alongside Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman, who turns to Nick and says,
"Look at us, Nick, showing that the CIA and S.H.I.E.L.D. can work together after all. But besides the point, if this guy has really been impersonating Wu all this time, where's the real Wu being located?"
"No clue, but I appreciate you coming out on such short notice." Carol walks into the room and says, "I'm going to need some answers and want them now." You know, I'd probably traditionally tell Carol to calm down, but I agree with her on this one. One of my closest friends is dead because you decided to go on a mass shooting spree today. So I'm close to just popping a cap in you myself. Okay. Carol, Fury, stand down. Sir, you are going to need to tell us everything that has been going on before we do have to start using some less than ideal methods of obtaining that information. The Skrull explains that he is a member of the Skrull Separatists, and he was one of a few spies that were sent to Earth during the blip to scout out the planet and to prepare for an invasion. During his time on Earth, he captured Jimmy Woo and began impersonating him in order to obtain such information. Woo, along with almost all the other prison inmates at the New York State Prison, are Skrulls, with the people who they are impersonating being stored underneath the facility. So, what exactly were you sent here for, besides scoping out the planet? Well, first I was instructed to find DNA from people who had incredible powers to assist Kalert in the creation of the Super Skrull. And sure enough, I found that there had been 4 individuals impacted by the cosmic rays, giving them incredible powers. And even more to my surprise, their building had not been properly secured. So the DNA I collected from their hair follicles and clothing not only gave Skrulls the ability to stretch, turn invisible, and control fire, but also increased the strength of us to incredible levels. And what is that supposed to do? Scare us? Why, yes. Why don't you ask the Kree? Oh wait, we already wiped out most of them from existence.
The other Skrulls also built a homing beacon to alert the Super Skrulls when they can proceed to land and begin their invasion on Earth. Apparently, Earth is one of the only planets capable of creating neutronium, which is used to power the homing device. Neutronium? You mean matter that has no protons or electrons? Yes, the force is so strong will allow the Skrull ship to arrive on Earth in a matter of minutes, with little to no time for you pathetic Earthlings to prepare. How did we learn about this, you might ask? Well, you can thank the unlocked and unprotected computer of one Dr. Reed Richards. That's great and all, but why tell us about this? We now know your plan. Because you won't have long enough to see its completion. Especially when you didn't even check if I had a tracking device on me. Suddenly, a massive explosion occurs on the outside of the building as a giant hole appears in the room. We see the inmates from New York State Prison begin swarming in, as the Skrull laughs. I didn't want you all to crack our code and have ample time to prepare for the invasion. That's primarily why I came here today, especially when we are this close to completing our goal. But now, I will relish killing the Marvel before the others arrive. We then watch as the Skrulls begin attacking Captain Marvel and the others. Captain Marvel attempts to fight them off, but the sheer number of them begin to overpower her. Nick Fury attempts to fight back, but suddenly a Skrull grabs him and punches him so hard its fist goes through Fury's chest, killing him instantly. Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., lays lifeless as Carol screams in horror. All right. We killed one. Kalert will want Marvel for himself. Retreat for now, but we will be destroying your planet soon enough. Take this as a lesson, Marvel. Next time you attempt to save someone else's planet and make us look weak, think about the consequences. As the Skrulls retreat, Carol lies on the floor weeping next to the body of Director Fury as Ross walks over and comforts her. Cut to a few hours later as we see Carol, Adam, Hill, Ross, and Bran standing at a makeshift grave for Director Fury and Talos. Hill looks at the group. So, what are we gonna do now? The Skrulls are coming, and we lost our leader. I don't know. All I know is that I'm not made for this. This is my fault, and I have no idea what we should do. There's no way the Avengers could assemble in time to really put up a fight, and there aren't any allies that can get here in time either. We have to do something. But first, like Hill said, we need a plan. Well, I can make some calls and get as many S.H.I.E.L.D. agents as we can to help out. Fury was my friend, and I will call all of the S.W.O.R.D. agents I know to ensure that his death was not in vain. This is great and all, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is without a leader. Before anyone can respond, we watch as White Vision flies down to the group and says, "Everyone, you may want to accompany me to the hospital wing. It appears that something has happened." As the group runs into the hospital wing, they feel the ground in the room shaking as they see Daisy standing upright on the ground, but she appears to be largely immune to the effects of the shaking. Hulkling is flying in the air as we see that Kamala's limbs have grown to enormous size and is freaking her out, while Monica is glowing like a light and floating in the air. Adam runs over to the computer and begins looking at their vital signs. My word, it appears all three of them have powers. What? Well, I can't explain it, but Daisy and Kamala are having a strong reaction to the mist. Almost like a mutation, but different. It's as if they have always had these powers. The mist was just able to unlock it more fully. And Monica, it appears hitting the energy disruptor reconstructed her genes. It's allowing her to literally disrupt energy. It's almost as if she can see energy and control it. What does this mean? Kamala, I want you to think about your normal body. It will help return your limbs to their normal size. Daisy, close your eyes and think calming thoughts. Monica, focus on your surroundings. It will help you stop floating. Watch as the three slowly return to normal as they all realize what is happening. Okay, so we have 5 powered humans, a super-ish Skrull, and a ton of S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.W.O.R.D. agents. I mean, I'd say that gives us a fighting chance at least, but I don't know how we are going to find the Skrulls. Did they give you any indication of how they are going to bring the remainder of the Skrulls to Earth or a location where they would be invading? Yeah, using a homing beacon made of neutronium, I believe. No, not neutronium. What's wrong with it? It is the one thing that can destroy antimatter. The good news is that I'll be able to help you all detect it, mainly because large quantities of it will cause me immense pain. But someone else will need to stop the device because too much contact with neutronium will kill me. Okay, here's the plan. Carol, Doric, you're going to work with Monica, Daisy, and Kamala to get their powers in control as much as you can within the limited amount of time we have to prepare. Adam and Vision, you two will split the duties of surveying the area where the Skrulls will arrive and make sure that we have the gear to protect ourselves when the invasion begins. Ross and Bran, call all the agents you can. We might not stand a chance against these Skrulls, but we will die trying. As the whole group nods at Hill, Ross smiles. I think the next director of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been with us this entire time. Watch as a compilation commences of Carol and Hulkling training Kamala to control her body-morphing abilities, Daisy to control her seismic powers, and Monica to control her new energy-based abilities. Blue Marvel patrols the area while we see White Vision working on building new uniforms for the team. We also watch as new S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.W.O.R.D. agents arrive for the fight, which includes, among other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, Ava Starr, formerly known as Ghost, played by Hannah John Kamen. As they arrive on the scene, they are prepped for battle by S.H.I.E.L.D. director Maria Hill, Ross, and Brand. As the compilation ends, we cut to Carol standing by herself in front of Nick Fury's grave. Watch as Monica walks outside and stands next to Carol. Good work in there, Lieutenant Trouble. Thanks. Can't believe how much has happened these last few hours, but I'm glad I got to train with you. As two stand in silence, Monica clears her throat and says, Carol, what happened to you? You disappeared and you didn't come back. Earth has gone through some crazy stuff. A golden awakening, a dead president, but Captain Marvel was nowhere to be found. We needed you. I needed you. I'm a failure, Monica. I'm a failure. Fury entrusted me to show up and defeat Thanos on my own. It's why he called me. I came back, and that purple freak grabbed the Power Stone and punched me away like I was nothing. I let him down. I could have prevented anyone from having to die, but I wasn't strong enough to stop him. I felt like a failure these past few months, traveling from planet to planet, trying to help, but really, just trying to escape this massive feeling of failure. Here we are. Earth is about to be invaded, and it's all my fault once again. But I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if we can win. I'm once again going to fail and bring others down with me. Auntie Carol, it's not true at all. You put way too much pressure on yourself. You can't possibly think that every issue in the galaxy falls squarely on your shoulders. Yes, you have powers that most couldn't even fathom, but you are still just Carol Danvers, an Earthling, who needs to lean on others once in a while. Carol begins to tear up as she hugs Monica. Thank you. I'm sorry about your mother. I couldn't face you. I should have been here for her. It's okay. Her cancer spread fast. But she loved you. You were her best friend. And I love you too, Auntie Carol. As the two embrace, we suddenly hear a beeping sound coming from Carol's pocket. She pulls out the pager and hears Adam saying that he has located the Skrulls, and the ship will be arriving on Earth shortly. It's time for the group to move out to the battlefield, which is located about 10 miles north of the facility. Carol hangs up and looks at Monica. Okay, co-pilot, it's time to go. We then watch as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are flown to the battlefield along with Carol flying the quad jet with Monica, White Vision, Kamala, and Hulkling on board. Both Monica and Kamala have on new uniforms. Kamala turns to Vision and says, "Thank you so much, Mr. Vision, sir. These new uniforms are incredible." Miss Khan, this is hardly worth your thanks. I merely constructed uniforms to enhance both your abilities and the abilities of Miss Rambeau. I must inquire, Miss Danvers, why are we allowing the Skrulls to land on Earth? Adam could have stopped them before they landed. Yeah, but if we just destroyed their ship, it would likely make them more willing to continue their quest for Skrull domination. We have to stop them in battle. It might sound stupid, I know, but I think I get how they think. If we humble them and show them that even with this whole Super Skrull power-up, they're no match for the Earthlings, we can save far more planets than just Earth. Fantastic plan as always, Captain Marvel! Fantastic may be a strong word. Idiotic is what it sounds like to me. You know, I never met the old Vision, but I was told he was an optimist with a personality, not a literal mandroid. Adam built me for optimization. I do not have the Mind Stone which enhanced the former Vision's personality. You didn't have to tell me that. Trust me, I can tell. Anyways, everyone, get ready. We are here. As the ship lands, we see the group walk up to Adam, who is hiding in brush near the battlefield, panting. Carol asks him if he is okay. Yeah, the radiation given off by the neutronium in that device is really making me weak, but I can manage. What would you say our chances are? As Carol asks this, we watch as a ship quickly lands on Earth, the landing speed enhanced by the pull of the homing beacon utilizing the neutronium, as we watch hundreds of Super Skrulls exit the ship. We watch as Kalert is the last one to exit the ship as he begins greeting the other Skrulls. Carol turns to Adam once again. So, back to my old question, what are you thinking now? We're about to see. Watch as Kalert gathers the Skrulls around him and begins yelling. Tonight, we take revenge for what the Marvel did to us all those years ago, when she sent a signal to the entire galaxy that Skrull kind is weak, incapable of defending ourselves. But that all changes, right here, right now. We will destroy Earth like we did Hala, and send a clear message to the entire galaxy that Skrulls are a powerful, proud race who you do not mess with. Amidst the Skrull cheers, we watch as Captain Marvel flies out from the bush and looks at the group and says, Sorry, boys, but you're going to have to get through me first. Kalert laughs. Ah, the Savior herself! This is perfect. You will die alone on a battlefield. Sure, You have performed a solo act for years, but trust me, multiple Super Skrulls and Skrulls joining together to fight you, it's simple math. We win, you lose. Carol chuckles. Unfortunately, boys, I brought friends. Watch as the group reveals themselves from the nearby brush as Kalert screams, "Kill them all! We destroy Earth now!" as the final battle ensues. We watch as an all-out battle between the Super Skrulls, and the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sword, Hulkling, Kamala, now using the name of Miss Marvel, White Vision, Blue Marvel, Monica, and Captain Marvel begins. We cut between various fights, including seeing Daisy, Johnson, and Ghost working together to defeat Skrulls as Captain Marvel fights Kalert head-on. As the battle continues, we watch as the fighters protecting Earth begin to get the upper hand. We watch Captain Marvel hit Kalert to the ground and chuckles. Ready to give up? You really are foolish. If you think these are all of the Super Skrulls, you must be kidding. There are thousands that have been given the power of the Super Skrulls. And using the neutronium homing beacon, we will keep them coming minute after minute. While your bodies slowly tire, we will keep fighting. Our numbers are greater, and we will be victorious. Well then, I guess we will destroy that little homing beacon of yours. How does that sound? Go on, try it. There's a reason we use neutronium. If too much energy is used on neutronium, it will react with oxygen in the air and cause the Earth to become engulfed in flames within a matter of seconds. Carol looks down horrified as she looks around to the other fighters and screams, "Guys, what do? We can't turn off the homing beacon without burning the planet, but we don't have enough energy to keep this up forever." The only way we could destroy the device without destroying the planet would be to overpower the device using antimatter. Yes, neutronium kills antimatter, but when combined, the two forces balance each other out, leaving nothing, an empty void. No explosion, no fire, no casualties. Okay, that's great and all, but where are we going to get enough antimatter to destroy this device? Heck, where are we going to get antimatter to begin with? He watches Blue Marvel punches a Skrull as he looks over to Carol and says, I'm going to have to charge into the device. It's the only way we can stop it. I'm going to have to change my molecular structure to that of pure antimatter. It's the only way. Carol quickly flies over to Blue Marvel. No, you can't do that. You'll die. It's not worth it. Carol, I've spent my entire life in hiding, ashamed of who I am. You used your powers to go out and help the galaxy. Now, I have a chance to become a hero. Use the thing that made me ashamed to save the world. I know we just met, and I'm sorry for all the craziness I caused in my lab. But thanks for showing me what it means to carry the title of Marvel. He watches Blue Marvel takes off towards the homing beacon as both Captain Marvel and Kalert scream. As you watch Blue Marvel scream in pain as he slowly disintegrates. As you watch the homing beacon begin to spark, after a few seconds, a giant flash of blue light occurs as both the homing beacon and Blue Marvel completely disappear. Kalert looks on in horror and screams, No! We did not put in all of this effort to lose! He watches Captain Marvel punches Kalert so hard he is knocked out as Carol screams, You have lost! You lost in the name of Talos! You lost in the name of Nick Fury! And you lost in the name of Adam Brashear! The Skrull race isn't weak, but it's you who attempted to alter yourselves to bring about galactic domination that are! We cut to a day later as we see the Skrulls wearing special cuffs made by White Vision meant to contain their powers, boarding a ship attached to the quad jet. We see that Monica and Hulkling are adding supplies to the ship as Carol stands with Director Hill, White Vision, and Kamala. Are you sure you don't want to come back once you are done transporting these Skrulls back to Skrullos? Earth could really use you. Yeah, well, although most of the Super Skrulls left Skrullos after word spread of the defeat down here, it doesn't seem like their cause is over. The greater universe still needs protecting in case they decide to get back in action. Hill smiles. Well, luckily we were able to find Wu and the other humans the Skrulls were impersonating, so if they attempt to take over Earth again, we'll be prepared to handle the threat. Carol smiles as Kamala clears her throat. I wanted to say it was great meeting you. I know I was told that I shouldn't meet my hero, and that I'd be disappointed if I did, but I'm really glad I got a chance to meet you. You know, I'm glad I got to meet you too. Plus, the Miss Marvel name is awesome. I want you to first come up with a better story to tell your parents than your Shield Agent for a Day prize got extended overnight. Then, find a way to use your powers for good. I'm sure that Miss gave you powers for some reason, and you need to find that out. Hala salutes as Carol turns to White Vision. So, what's next for you? Well, I am an android created to assist Mr. Brashear with his research and to give S.H.I.E.L.D. a new super android weapon. But, now that he's gone, I think I'm going to take some time and discover some of the personality Earth has to offer. We watch as Vision quickly takes off as Hill looks to Carol. Do you really think it's a good idea that a super droid is roaming around the world freely? Carol chuckles and hands Hill something. Hill looks down and sees a pager identical to the one Fury used to call Carol before. Use it, if you ever need me. By the way, keep making Fury proud. Hill smiles as we watch Carol return to the quad jet and take off, heading to Skrullos, where we see Doric reunite with Queen Enel and Dazan, who have regained control following the Super Skrulls' defeat, with the remaining Separatists and other Super Skrulls escaping to an unknown planet. After bringing Kalert and the Skrull Separatists captured during the battle on Earth to Skrull prison, Hulkling informs Captain Marvel that he will remain to help protect the planet if anyone ever decides to come back to attack, but he would eventually like to return to Earth at some point. Carol smiles as she says goodbye to the group and returns to the quadjet. We see Carol and Monica sitting in the driver and passenger seat of the ship. So, where are we off to now, Lieutenant Trouble? You know, I've been thinking. If I'm going to be your co-pilot, I need a cool name. Photon. Sounds like it is full of energy. Like me, I guess. Photon. I like it. It's a much better name than Lieutenant Trouble. Sweet. Well, how about we go to deep space, find some planets that need our help? Deep space it is. We watch the quadjet blast off as Don't Bring Me Down by Electric Light Orchestra begins to play as the movie ends, the title card appearing that says Captain Marvel and Photon will return. We have two post-credit scenes. In the first post-credit scene, we cut to Hala as we see the destroyed planet filled with wreckage and decay. We see a group of around 1,000 Kree gathered around a stage as an old Kree speaks. With the unfortunate death of Jan Rog, Dar-Benn, and a large portion of our population, we have been left without a leader. That is, until today. We found an unlikely leader to step up and take control. The long-forgotten son of Hala, who has returned home to bring us greatness once again. My friends, please welcome Ronan back home! We watch as Ronan the Accuser, played by Lee Pace, takes the stage and waves to the crowd. In the second post-credit scene, we cut to a forest in the middle of the California wilderness as we see White Vision standing near a stream. We hear leaves crackling as Vision speaks. Mr. Barton, Mrs. Barton, I can sense your presence here. Vision turns around to see Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, and Barbara Barton, played by Linda Cardellini, standing behind him. Yeah, you do look a bit different than the old Vision. Hill was right. May I inquire as to why you are here? I am not returning to S.H.I.E.L.D. I am exploring the world. We aren't here on behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D. Elaborate? Well, California and the West Coast are a big place, and there are a lot of people who need protecting, and let's face it, I'm just a guy with a bow and arrow, and Barbara is just a woman with a cool staff. Battle staves, Clint! Yeah, regardless, I'm putting together a team called the West Coast Avengers, and we really need some new recruits to help us protect humanity here on the West Coast. Please, Vision, would you help us out? I've been told that part of your personality comes from working with others, having friends. So if this assignment requires that I both help humanity and work with others, it will bring me closer to forming this personality. Mr. Barton, I accept. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Captain Marvel Secret Invasion
the first project in Phase 5. I'm so excited we're finally in Phase 5. And yes, this has been a long time coming. We've finally seen Captain Marvel again. We have seen the Skrulls. And we got introduced to the Terrigen Mist, which we will explore a little bit more next time in Fantastic Four: Arrival of the Inhumans, the second project of Rebooted MCU Phase 5. Now, with that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You can go check out the finale of Phase 4. And again, make sure to share this video with a friend, join the Discord below, and if you are subscribed, make sure to hit the bell notifications so you get notified every time I upload. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care.